This is the Louie T Network. Hey, either you're outside or you're
in the lab room.
Who else could it be but me, your man, Louie T? Welcome. You are in the lab room. Of course, I am your host, Lou. Thank you for joining me. Week number 15 in the National Football League. Green Bay Packers on the road taking on the Buffalo Bills. Nobody, and I mean nobody, scares the hell out of playoff teams in December like the Buffalo Bills. Look, there's not a lot of things that I enjoy more than being right. But one thing I enjoy more than being right is telling you that I was right. Take a look at this. Green Bay at Buffalo. Trap game for the Green Bay Packers here. This is a trap game if I've ever seen one. You don't want any part of Buffalo at home late in the season. I mean, the Packers, they're not opposed to playing in cold weather. They play in it all the time. They play in Lambeau. They're at home in the cold weather and the elements. That's not a problem. The problem is Buffalo plays defense. Ask Peyton Manning last week how tough it was to get anything going in the passing game against this Bills unit. These guys turn you over. They make things happen. I tried to warn Packers fans out there everywhere. And I know Packers were 0 all time in Buffalo, so they know what time it is in Buffalo. They know it's tough to get a win over there. They weren't taking this Bills team for granted. They saw what this Bills defense did to Peyton Manning last week. They already knew. You would think they already knew. But the way that they came out with, the game plan that they came out with, you probably felt like, no, you really don't get it, do you? You don't understand what's happening here. And I'll talk about that a little bit later, but let's jump into the particulars. It's 9-3 Green Bay, or excuse me, 10-3 Green Bay, taking on 7-6 Buffalo. Buffalo, look, season's on the line right here. You don't win this game, it's done. At 7-7, there's no way you get in. But a win here gets you to 8-6, gives you a fighting chance. I don't like your conference record, but again, you get to 10, you give yourself a chance to get in. So if you're a Buffalo, you got to win out. You don't have any alternatives. You win this game, you win again, and then you got to hope you got a shot down the stretch. So it's really simple for you if you are the Buffalo Bills. You got to beat New England on the road. That's going to be a toughie, okay? But you can't worry about that. You got to worry about this game in front of you, because if you don't win this one, that game in Week 17 means zilch. For the Packers, you're looking at home field advantage in the NFC. That's the carrot dangling in your face. Not only do you want to win your division, because again, the NFC is so crazy that there could be an 11-win team that doesn't get in. So you want to win your division just to make sure, hey, I got my seat at the table. I'm getting in the dance. They're going to let me in here. I'm going to get my boogie on. I understand that. But you want to boogie at Lambeau. You want all roads leading to the Super Bowl through the NFC side to come through Lambeau Field. You already been to CenturyLink, okay? You already went to Seattle this year. Wasn't pretty. You don't want to do that again. So you need to win. So a lot's on the line here for both teams. For the Bills, backs against the wall. Season's up. Don't win this game, it's done. For the Packers, you could easily not make the postseason. You could, look, for as good as you've played, you could just as easily miss the postseason. So you've got to make sure you take care of business. So let's jump into this. Packers get on the board first, late in the first quarter with a field goal. And to me, the first possession was a bad omen. And this is a clean, crisp, efficient Packers offense. Andrew Quarles drops the football on the first third down of the game. I said, uh-oh, SpaghettiOs, that's not good. That can't be good. And so Marcus Thigpen's 75-yard punt return for a touchdown gives the Bills their first lead of the game at 7-3. They got this guy off the streets. He was once a Dolphin. He showed why he is still around in this league. He was an efficient returner for the Dolphins, and he is doing it again with this Bills football team. Huge return, 7-3 as we head to the second quarter. Eddie Lacy accounts for 57 yards of a 78-yard drive, including a 1-yard touchdown plunge to give the Packers a 10-7 lead. Here's the mistake. And this is why I said I don't think they watched the film that Denver put on for them the week prior, because Denver struggled in the air. Peyton Manning was picked off twice. He did not have a passing touchdown for the first time in a long time, but they were able to run the football. C.J. Anderson scored 3 touchdowns. They were able to move the football up and down the field on the ground. That was supposed to be the emphasis for the Packers in this game. And Eddie Lacy was eating these boys alive in this game. 15 carries, 97 yards. 15 carries, not enough when he's got 97 yards. He was killing, and if not for a couple of penalties, calling back a couple more big runs, 12, 21, 19-yard runs, called back by penalty, he would have gashed these boys for well over 100. So they should have fed the beast known as Eddie Lacy some more. Instead, they turned around and put the ball in the hands of number 12. And look, that's not a bad idea on most Sundays. This isn't most Sundays. This is the Buffalo Bills defense. And oh, by the way, their pass defense, one of the best in the league. I wouldn't advise you to go chuck it 45 times against that Bills secondary. Those boys play ball. That front 7, that front 4, more importantly, they get pressure on the quarterback. That back 4, they back up what the front 4 is doing by making you pay if you make a mistake. Run the football. It was simple. You didn't follow directions. You had to pay for it. It's 10-7. Packers take. I thought after that drive, the light bulb was going to come on. They were going to run the football. McCarthy was going to understand what it was going to take to win this game in Buffalo today. He didn't get the memo. It's 10-7, Green Bay on top. Carpenter adds a field goal to make it 10-all. Stephon Gilmore with a near pick 6. He had it. Catch the football, Stephon. This is A-Rod we talking about. You don't get many opportunities to pick him off and take it the other way. Got to catch the football, man. And then Super Mario with a block of a 53-yard Mason Crosby field goal keeps the score knotted at 10 at the halftime break. We come out of the halftime break. Bills come out of the half, 9 straight runs to start the half. Impressive, too. Move the football down the field a bit. On the 10th play, however, they elected to throw the football. Kyle Orton misses a wide open Woods. He was open, and he might have still been running had Kyle Orton been able to hit him in stride. Instead, it was behind him, incomplete. And so you got to attempt a 53-yard Dan Carpenter field goal, which he drills. It's now 10-13. Bills take the lead. Bryce Brown wide open down the field. Would have loved to have seen him scoring this. Again, Kyle Orton, if he leads him, if he doesn't have to stop and wait on the football like little giants, it's a touchdown. Instead, he's got to stop, wait on the football. Is it here yet? You tie my shoes. All right, catch the football. All of a sudden now, convoy of Packers come. He has to try to leap over a guy. He gets tackled. And again, instead of that being a 72-yard touchdown, it's just a big gain that sets up another field goal attempt. And so it's 16-10, Bills on top. Bakari Rambo with a pick of A-Rod, and this was an excellent pick. He's in coverage with a receiver, able to leap over them, pick it off. Great play by him. Gets a nice little return on it as well. So huge play by Bakari Rambo. But because of a sack and a subsequent penalty on the Bills, they get nada out of the interception. So it's still 16-10. And then this is when you knew, I don't think this is going to be the Packers' day. Jordy Nelson had already dropped one in the end zone in the first half. Aaron Rodgers, and you don't see this often, man. Jordy is a specialist at catching deep ones and getting into the end zone. Sneaky white dude. I mean, a lot of people underrate his speed. Oh, he white. He ain't running nowhere. And then next thing you look up, Jordy's 3 steps behind you. Like, damn, how'd that happen? It's Jordy Nelson, man. You better recognize. Jordy is 7 yards beyond the Bills defense. The only hope was that there was a safety coming off the pace. If he had the correct angle, maybe he catches Jordy. I'm not betting on that. Jordy knows how to find the end zone once he gets behind the defense. This was a 90-yard touchdown, and Jordy just drops the football. That's when you had to know, if you're a Bills fan, this is our day. We're going to win this game. If you're a Packers fan, you had to say, yeah, this is probably not our day right here. As we go to the fourth quarter, that was a huge drop by Jordy Nelson. Not used to seeing that at all. After starting at the shadow of their own end zone, the Packers drive the football into Bills territory, but A-Rod skips a pass off of his intended receiver's hands and into the waiting arms of Bakari Rambo for his second interception of the game that leads to a 48-yard field goal. Bills now up by 2 scores, 19-10, with 5 minutes left in the ball game. Packers get a field goal with 5 minutes left in the ball game. Still a full complement of timeouts. So they're still in this game, down 6, 5 minutes left. You get a stop, or you just get the football back at some point. You score a touchdown, you win the game. They've done this already to a team in this division. Go ask the Miami Dolphins what it feels like to have Aaron Rodgers with the football late in the game with a chance to win. It's not a very pretty sight. So if you're the Buffalo Bills, best thing you can do, 4-minute offense, make them use all their timeouts. Don't give them back the football. Take that knee in the victory formation, if at all possible. And Boobie Dixon fumbles the football. That was the last time I saw that man in the game. They bring in Fred Jackson. Luckily enough, Bills recover the football, able to force Green Bay to use all of their timeouts. Then they give the Packers back the football one final time. Great punt, pins them deep. They're able to get down there, hit Micah Hyde deep in their own territory. So great coverage by the Bills, setting up the Packers deep in their own territory. First play from scrimmage, Aaron Rodgers drops back to pass. And this is why you're paying Super Mario the big bucks. He's already got a blocked field goal in this game, which is looming huge right now because, again, if he doesn't block that field goal and it goes in, we're talking about a 3-point game right now. Instead, they need a touchdown. And this is why you got closers. The good teams, look at all the teams in the league right now, for the most part, the good defensive teams at least, they got a closer on their team. They got a guy that they can look at and turn to, game on the line, say, hey, go get the quarterback. The great teams, the great defensive teams have a closer. Bills have several guys that can do that, but the one that is the most disruptive is Super Mario. Made his presence felt, didn't touch Aaron Rodgers, but he got to the football, knocked it out of his hands, trickles into the end zone. Eddie Lacy tries to scoop it up. Under 2 minutes, there's a rule in place so that, I think it's the, I forgot what the play was called with the Raiders and the Chargers, where the ball was fumbled literally into the end zone on purpose, recovered by the Raiders, and they win that football game. To stop things like that from happening, only the player that fumbles the football can pick it up and advance it. And so, and if you do that, you can only advance it, I believe, only the player that fumbles it can pick it up and advance the fumble. It was picked up by Eddie Lacy, not the guy that fumbled the football. In any event, it's a safety, game, set, match. Packers now down 21-13, need a touchdown and a 2-point conversion. But, oh yeah, by the way, you need the football to do that. They got to kick it off, free kick to the Bills. They tried onside kick, not going to work. Bills get it easily, and they take knees. Humongous win by the Buffalo Bills, saving their season. I hate to say this, but I don't hate to say this. I told you so. This was going to be a trap game. Every week's got a trap in it. Don't get caught in it. The Buffalo Bills made sure the Green Bay Packers got caught in the trap. Bills have now completed the sweep of the NFC North, which is a really good division. 2 teams with over 10 wins. You got the Bears and the Vikings. Both of them have, one has 6, the other has 5. So really good division is the NFC North. Bills have swept those guys up, a flawless 4-0. Now that's great, okay? But the bad part about that is that means 4 of your wins on the season have come from the NFC. That doesn't bode well for you in the grand scheme of things when we start talking about conference record. That means that in the AFC, you're 4-6. And again, when we start talking tiebreakers, that's where it's going to come back to bite you. But in any event, huge win, saves your season, gives you a shot. That's all you can ask for this time of the year. Give me a chance. Bills extend their season by another week with this huge win over Green Bay, 21-13. For the Green Bay Packers, this game has far-reaching consequences This loss now puts you behind Detroit. Again, you still have them week 17, but now you've opened up the door for everybody. Arizona has the inside track, so does Seattle on home field advantage. If either one of those teams wins out, they get home field advantage no matter what the Packers do. So Packers have put themselves in a bind. If they can't win out and have somebody else lose that's above them, they will not have home field advantage. And if you're Green Bay, the way you've played on the road this year, you not only want home field advantage, you need it. And so that's going to do it for Packers Bills. I thank you for joining me. If it happens in the National Football League, whether big or small, we cover it all here in the lab room. Come back and join me as I continue to break down week number 15 in the National Football League. See you. Bit.